Let's dive into Mochi's training so that we can stay consistent at home. So, whenever he's offering behaviors that we want to keep on seeing, that could be following our commands or just offering polite behaviors, we want to make sure that we're rewarding him with praise, petting, or treats. That way, we can encourage him to do those behaviors more often, and then we'll see less of those bad behaviors. And if he is offering any of those unwanted behaviors like nibbling on our fingers, being a little too mouthy, jumping, breaking any commands, anything like that, we want to make sure that we're following through with our training equipment. That way we can communicate with him that we don't want to see that, and then he'll offer those behaviors less often. So first, this is his prong collar. This collar is going to be the one closest up to his ears anytime he's wearing it. So especially on walks, whenever he's on leash, have this one on him. And how you take it on and off is you'll hold one of the links just like this, slide it up until you see these two little loops right here. You'll grab those two loops and then slide them through. To put it back, you'll line the prongs up with these two little loops right there and then slide them through. The leash will attach to the swiveling D-ring right here at the top. And how it works is, say he's offering any of those unwanted behaviors, so if we're on a walk and he's pulling ahead a little too far, we're going to say no, follow through with a pop of the prong collar, and then continue on with whatever we're doing. Same thing works for if he's being a little too mouthy, jumping on us, anything like that. Just no, pop with the prong collar, and then continuing on. And then this is his remote collar. This one will be on him first thing in the morning and then before he goes to bed or if he goes up in his crate. So anytime you're home with him, he'll be wearing this one. To turn it on and off, there's a little red dot right there and a matching red dot on the side of the remote. You'll touch those two together and it'll light up green when it's on. And then to turn on the remote itself, there's an L button on the back. You'll press and hold until that screen turns on. It'll flash blue and then the remote is on once you can see those numbers on the front. And this works in a very similar way. So whenever he's offering those unwanted behaviors, we'll say no, and then click this black S button right here. So no, black S button, and then continuing on with whatever we're doing. And then let's go over his commands. So first we have sit. Both sit and down have implied stays. So once we tell him sit or down, he has to stay in that position until we give him his release word, which is go. So say we put him in a sit while we're getting ready to head out the door. If he gets up at any point, whether we reach for the door or even if we're about to walk out, we have to put him back in that sit position and then try again until he gets it right. Same thing with down. So if you have him in a down while you're waiting in a lobby, say at the vet or something like that, if something happens where he wants to get up and go investigate, or if he gets a little too distracted and he stands up, we're going to put him back in that down and try to practice whatever got him up again until he gets it right. And then whenever he is doing the right behavior, we want to make sure that we're rewarding him. That way he understands that that is what we want to see. And that could be with just praise, petting, treats if we have them, anything like that, just so that we can tell him, yes, that's what we want to keep on seeing. And then next we have heel. So heel is that nice loose leash walking position on our left-hand side. Whenever he's in this position, just like with sitting down, we want to reward him so he knows exactly where he's supposed to be. If he goes a little too far ahead of us, off to the side, or starts to sniff, anything like that, we're going to give him a little pop of the leash. That way we can get him back to where we want him to be and continue on with our walk. Usually during a walk, we only have him in that position around 80 or 90% of the time. The rest of the time, he's going to be in his release command. So that means he can go sniff, he can go and do his business, explore, anything like that. But if he still offers those unwanted behaviors like jumping on you, anything like that, we want to make sure we're still following through. That way we can stay consistent and he understands what we're asking of him. And then whenever he is in that release command and he's able to go sniff and do his business, we'll say go, just like with sit and down. To release him out of any of his commands, we'll use that word go so that he knows he's able to do as he pleases within reason. And then next we have place. So place is a boundary stay. I kind of think of it as like a crate with no walls. So whenever he's working on his place command, as long as all four paws are up on that bed and he's not offering those unwanted behaviors, he's good to go. So it doesn't matter if he's sitting, standing, laying down, anything like that. As long as he's up on that bed, he's good. And then introducing distractions at home slowly with this one, especially since everything at home is a lot more exciting than it is here. So next time you're at home and you're working on it, start just with building distance and then go up from there with the distractions. And then we have come when called. So whenever we're working on this one, we want to make sure we have him on a super long leash while we establish those boundaries. That way, if he decides, I'm going to try staying distracted over here and not listening, we can reel him in like a fish and let him know that, hey, if I call you to me, you have to come back. And then you can use toys, treats, people, letting him just sniff to get him distracted. But you can also make it into a game where he gets out of your space. As soon as he's out of your space, you call him back, have him sit, and then reward from your hand, letting him go back out and explore as well. So that's a good game to play with him to help get him tired and just work on his recall. And then next we have leave it. So whenever we're practicing this one, having him on leash is very important. That way, if he goes to try to go grab whatever object we're practicing with, we can address it with the leash. And then once he understands that boundary, then we can start to introduce the e-collar with it a little bit more as well. So whenever we're telling him to leave it, we want to make sure we're tossing that treat away from him. Whenever it hits the ground or whenever we're tossing it, we'll tell him leave it, and then he'll go into a sit or a down. Once he's in one of those two positions, we can reward him from our hand and then release him by saying his release word go to let him go get the object if it's something he can have. If it's something he's not allowed to have, we're going to keep him in that sit or down and we can go get that object, or we can release him from the sit and down and just make sure we're watching him while we go collect the object. That way he understands that, hey, just because I'm up doesn't mean I can go get whatever object is on the ground. And then that will be all of his commands. So we'll watch him do all of those out in public.
Down. Good, down. 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 Good, down.
Let's go over the rest of the features of his remote collar. So going back over how to turn it on and off, these little red dots right on the side of the remote and the collar, you'll touch those two together and it'll turn green when it's on, red when it's off. And then you might see it flash orange, that just means the collar is dying, so I'd recommend plugging it in. The back right here, this black L button, if you press and hold it, it'll turn the remote on right there, and then if you press and hold it again, it'll turn the screen off, which means the remote is off. So going back over how you would use it, say he's offering any of those unwanted behaviors, could be jumping on you or just breaking any of your commands. You're going to say no and then press this black S button right here on the side to continue on. So no, black S button, continuing on with whatever we're doing. So right now I have him on level 18. It's working great here for us, but at home things might be a little bit more exciting. If you notice he's not responding very well to level 18, you can adjust his level. And how you would do that is right now I have it locked. So how do you unlock that level is you'd press and hold this little button right here. And then once it flashes, you're good to change it. And then you can rotate it from there to adjust the level. And then once you adjust it, you can press and hold. It'll flash and then lock back into place. And then these buttons on the side right here, like I mentioned a second ago, this black S button is going to be the button you use more frequently. So whenever he's offering any of those unwanted behaviors, you can use that button right there with the prong collar or just the button itself. This red button is for emergencies only. So whenever you press this button, whatever level he's on, it'll jump it up 25 from wherever it's at. So it's for emergencies. Say he's running at the road and he tried this black button, nothing's working, maybe you forgot to put a leash on him. You can use this red S button. So red for emergencies, this black one is going to be your normal use. On this side right here, you'll have that T button. This is the vibrate setting. So I use this one to either break up whining, say he's in his crate and there's no break in the whining and you're working on trying to reward him. Then you can press that button. Sometimes it'll distract them, make them think a fly is in here, something like that. Or you can even just use it to tell if the remote's on. So if you don't know if you turned it on or not, you can press that button, it'll vibrate the collar. And then this L button on the back is also a flashlight. So if you click it once without holding it down, it'll have that flash setting. A second time, we'll have it hold that solid light on. A third time, we'll turn it off. And then, like I said earlier, if you press and hold it, it'll turn the colors or the remote off. And yeah, so that is all of the features of the remote. On the back right here, there's this little flap at the bottom. That is how you will charge it. So if you flip it open, there's that little port for the charger. On the collar itself, it's between those two prongs right here. So you can flip that open, plug it in to charge. And then it does hold a charge pretty well. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I would have this on first thing in the morning, and then whenever you guys are home throughout the day with him, have it on as well. If he's ever crated or he's left at home and you're not there with him, take it off so that he doesn't get stuck on anything. And then whenever you guys get home again, put it back on. And then if he's sleeping, either in his crate or just in general, you can take it off. But as soon as he's awake, have it back on, just so that we have some way to communicate with him if he does offer any weird, funky behaviors. And then it does usually hold a charge for 2 or 3 days, depending on how long you have it on. If you have it on him for 12 hours every single day, it'll probably last you 2 days. It does charge pretty quickly though, so plug it in after like an hour or two, it's usually fully charged. And it is waterproof, so if he likes going on water adventures in the summertime with how hot it is, he can be in the water with it, but I would just recommend if he's staying wet for a longer amount of time, just to rotate where it's sitting on his neck so that it doesn't irritate anywhere. Other than that, if you have any questions, let us know. But you are all set to have fun and stay consistent.